Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to a very special edition of Pro Wrestling Unscripted. Tonight, I have the two biggest names in CCW here to talk about the controversy that's on the lips of every fan in Cape Championship Wrestling. To my right, Jeff Odell, manager of the Pinnacle. To my left, Brandon Barbwire, the CCW champion. And we're going to talk about everything happening between the two, the hostility all coming from February 25th when Jeff Odell, you cost Brandon Barbwire his shot at greatness against Matt Hardy. Now, Jeff, I've tried to get you on here for weeks because I wanted you to explain to the fans and to Brandon why you did what you did. And Brandon, I think you want answers.
Oh, yeah. Well, make no mistake, C-Nan, I'm not here because I want to be here. I'm here because Ken Murphy said I had to be here tonight to promote the card. And by the way, since I'm here to promote the card, check us out live Saturday night, March the 25th, AC Brazzi Arena, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. CCW presents March Malice, bell time 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Now, back to the story at hand. You know, I feel for our president, Donald Trump, because every week you turn on the TV and he's talking about fake news, fake reporters, fake stories, and that's exactly what I'm having to deal with here in CCW. A bunch of fake reporters like you and like other people on Facebook are trying to generate a story when one doesn't exist. There is no problem between myself and Brandon Barbwire. Make no mistake.
No. There is a problem. There is a problem. You talk about fake news. There was nothing fake about you stopping me from going back in the ring to beat Matt Hardy. Do you realize what a victory over that man would have done for my career? Do you realize what a victory over that man would have done for the entire company? Matt Hardy has been a major player everywhere he's been, everywhere in this business, all over the world. And I had him in the palm of my hand. I went to the outside to get my stuff together, to get my head right. And when I went back in to finish my work, you stopped me. I have a loss on my record against Matt Hardy, not because of Brandon Barbwire, because of Jeff Odell. It's not fake. It's not fake news. This is real to me. So explain to me why it's something that you can just dismiss.
Okay, Brandon, I understand your frustration. I have a question for you. Who's the greatest professional wrestler of all time?
Ric Flair.
That's right, Ric Flair. And the linchpin of Ric Flair's career was his run as the World Heavyweight Champion in the 1980s. Now, back in the 1980s, you might not remember this. This might have been a little before your time. But Ric Flair was wrestling some 250 nights a year. 250 nights a year. And Ric Flair, between 1983 and 1991, was the World Heavyweight Champion most of the time. Now, there was a couple moments there, maybe a month or two at a time, where Ric Flair wasn't the champion, but he always got it back pretty quick. Now, why was Ric Flair so successful? Because in his corner throughout that time was James J. Dillon. And when Ric Flair was in the ring, some nights Ric Flair beat his opponent outright. But then there were other nights when things weren't going Ric Flair's way. So J.J. Dillon pulled him out. He would get Ric Flair disqualified. He'd get Ric Flair counted out. Regardless of what happened, Ric Flair was the World Heavyweight Champion. And I know you're not happy with me right now, Brandon Barbwire. But right now, Brandon Barbwire is the CCW Heavyweight Champion. Yes, you might have been able to get back in that ring and finish off Matt Hardy. But the facts are the facts. What happened when you got back in the ring?
You mean after the match was over, when I was so pissed off at you that I couldn't see straight?
That's right.
And Matt Hardy threw me back in the ring and hit me with the twist of fate?
That's right. You
know what I was thinking about? You know what I was thinking about the whole time Matt Hardy was hitting that twist of fate on me? I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about why. Why is it that my friend and my manager and the man that has been on this journey with me with this title for the last 8 months, why did he decide that all of a sudden I wasn't good enough to beat Matt Hardy when I felt completely confident in what I was doing? Matt Hardy hit a twist of fate on me because I was thinking about you. I avoided it 4 other times. Watch the match. You were there. I know how to avoid the twist of fate. I did my homework. So why couldn't you believe in me?
I believe in you. Made no mistake. I didn't think the match was going our way, so I pulled you out of it. And I stand by that decision. And right now, you are still the CCW heavyweight champion. And you're in the driver's seat going into March Malice. And you know, I know you're very angry with me right now. Are you a boxing fan by any chance?
No, Jeff, I'm not a boxing fan.
You're not a boxing fan. You know, I'm a big boxing fan. And I remember many years ago, there was a young, undefeated heavyweight champion by the name of Michael Moore. And he thought he knew what he was doing. He thought he could make no mistakes. He thought he was smarter than anybody else. And he had a trainer by the name of Teddy Atlas. And Teddy Atlas was a tough trainer, but Teddy Atlas was always looking out for his fighter. And Michael Moore was in this fight against a man named George Foreman. George Foreman was some 20 years older than Michael Moore. And Michael Moore was in the ring with George Foreman having the best fight of his life. And Teddy, every time Michael came back to the corner after fighting George for 3 minutes, Teddy would sit him down and he said, "Watch out, kid. He's laying a trap for you, and you're going to fall into it." Michael Moore thought he knew better than Teddy Atlas, and he didn't take Teddy's advice. And what happened? Michael Moore got knocked out, and an old man won the heavyweight championship of the world. And you're in a similar situation here, Brandon. You're angry with me because of the decision I made. You're coming up against Sarge O'Reilly, Saggy Sarge O'Reilly, who's a lot older than you are. And I know you think you can beat him. And maybe you can. You probably can.
I already have. It was the first night. Remember?
And I realize that. I realize that you won this beautiful gold and silver belt without me. You did. The first night in CCW, one night only tournament, Brandon Barbwire beats Sarge O'Reilly. Brandon Barbwire beats Farmer Billy Hills. He does it all by himself. And you know what? Maybe without Jeff Odell, you beat everybody along the way. Maybe you didn't need my help to beat Hollis Giroux. Maybe you didn't need my help to beat Austin Lane. But Austin Lane did give you a lot of trouble, didn't he?
Look, we're not debating whether or not Austin Lane is a worthy opponent. I think everybody is aware of that. That's why me beating him was so important. And the fact is, I enjoyed having you there because I view you as a friend. I have from the beginning. The fact is, you are a luxury. You are not a necessity for me, Jeff. I have a career with or without you. I would rather you be there. But if you can't be my friend, if you can't believe in me, then maybe you shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be there at ringside.
Gentlemen, if I can interject for just a second. Brandon, talking about the night you won the title, when Jeff Odell was not in your corner, was that one of the biggest nights of your life?
The biggest night of my life. The biggest night of my life should have been beating Matt Hardy. That should have been the biggest night of my life. So yeah, to this point, winning this, the first night out, that was the biggest night of my life. And I had a chance to move up from that, to move up in my career, Jeff, and you, my friend, you took that from me.
You've still got a chance because you're still the CCW heavyweight champion. Now, ask yourself this, Brandon. What would have happened if things would have went just exactly the way we saw them? What if I don't prevent you from getting back in the ring and you walk right in face first into that twist of fate and Matt Hardy beats you 1, 2, 3. And after the match, Matt Hardy's raising this belt above his head. And going into CCW March Malice, is Brandon Barbwire even on the card? You know, Ken Murphy doesn't like you and doesn't like me. Jason Wells doesn't like you and he doesn't like me. Osby Tomlin, our new GM, he doesn't like you and he doesn't like me. Without this belt, would you even be on the card? Would I be allowed in the building? All that matters is the CCW Heavyweight Championship. All that matters is the fact that you are still the CCW Heavyweight Champion. You will have opportunities going forward. You have an opportunity on March the 25th against Sarge O'Reilly. And if and when you beat Sarge O'Reilly, you've got an opportunity again at Comic-Con.
You do have opportunities. But let me ask you something, Brandon. When you won that title without Jeff Odell, and for the past how many months? 8 months? 9 months you've been champion? What have you done in that time?
I've won.
You've won. You've skated through all these competitors. Hollis Giroux, Austin Lane. Some you won fairly. You beat Hollis Giroux. You beat him.
Oh, more than once in that match, if I recall.
Austin Lane gave you trouble. No doubt about it. But it's been pretty stagnant. You've been champion, but that's it. You had a chance when you fought Matt Hardy to be more than champion. You had a chance to be the guy that beat the biggest name in professional wrestling right now.
Now, I see what you're doing here. You're instigating fake news, fake reporting. No. You're trying to create controversy. You're trying to make this worse.
You robbed him of his opportunity to be legendary. He's champion, but what could he be if you had beaten Matt Hardy? And the opportunities that you get in the future, Brandon, of those opportunities, how many more is he going to rob you of?
Here's the issue here, Shannon, Jeff. Shannon's not wrong. And this is the whole point. You keep coming back to what I have moving forward. I'm not guaranteed a tomorrow. Nobody's guaranteed a tomorrow. I had Matt Hardy in my sights. That's what I was guaranteed. And because of you, that opportunity came and it went, and I walked out of that building champion, but I also walked out a loser. That bothers me. And the fact is, Jeff, if you are my friend, and the truth is, I want to believe that you are my friend, but if you're my friend, then I need you to have the same kind of confidence in me that you would have had if I was Stone Cold Steve Austin or another big name. Would you have stopped one of those guys from getting in the ring? No. Would you have stopped Ric Flair? Hell no. You would have sat on your heels and you would have let him call the shot. Because as you've said, he's the best, right? Well, in CCW, Brandon Barbwire's the best. I've proved it consistently. And as my friend, not my manager, as my friend, knowing what that night meant for my career, for my life, you still stopped me from going back in. You know me. You know me better than anybody in that damn company, Jeff. If I thought for a second that I couldn't do it, we would have done it your way. We always have. If I've ever had a doubt, I come to you. I didn't have a doubt. So here's what I'll say. If you can come to that ring, if you can be my friend, if you can support me and believe in me the way that you are supposed to, then fantastic. Come on. But if not, keep your ass in the back. Because like I said, you are a luxury and not a necessity. Hashtag long live the champ.
There will be other Matt Hardys. He's still the champ.
We'll see you next month. Thank you guys for tuning in.